Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Open Mic Night, live at the ZoomBarDC. We've got a great show for you tonight. We've got Ed Crowley, Megan Ukoh, Joseph Stegner, Tom Mann, and more. So sit back, relax, have a great time, and Megan Ukoh is going to kick us off. Take it away, Megan.
All right, thank you. Glad to be back. Just got covers today. I guess I have some old ones, and I guess if we have time, I'll do some new ones that I've been working on. I'll start out with this. I like this one. It's the Frank Sinatra tune, "Fly Me to the Moon." Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Right, cool. Thank you.
Lovely.
Feel free to take yourself off mute and applaud. Yay, Megan, that was beautiful.
Thank you, Maya. Try to keep it in this same vein with this other song. I do like the other like more like a modernized version of it by Lauryn Hill. It's called "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You." I hear a little echo, so I'm gonna take these off for this one. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I think I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Lord, in the way that I stare, there's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. I need you, baby. And if it's quite alright, I need you, baby. So on the lonely nights, I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say okay. Oh, pretty baby, don't let me down, I pray. Oh, pretty baby, now that I found you, stay and let me love you. Let me love you. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Hold me like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Pardon the way that I stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. But if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. I need you, baby. And if it's quite alright, I need you, baby. To warm the lonely nights, I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say okay. Oh, pretty baby, don't let me down, I pray. Oh, pretty baby, now that I found you, stay and let me love you. Let me love you.
Woo!
Great. That was great.
Do you want me to carry it?
Yay, Megan! That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, so keep thinking of a couple more to do later. Ed, do you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, I'd forgotten what it's like to follow Megan. I don't like that. I haven't been playing much, so I only can think of a couple to do. So Megan might have to round this out. Now sit right down and let me tell you the facts. My baby got wings, she flies like that. She's all right. Yeah, my baby's all right. Everything I want in this great big world got right here in my little Tennessee girl. She ain't got shoes, but she's good to go. Got Memphis blues right down in her soul. Yeah, my baby's all right. Everything I want in this great big world I got right here in my little Tennessee girl. If she got $2, you know I got one. We're gonna boogie woogie and have some fun. She's always right, never wrong. She never leaves no chicken now on the bone. My baby, she rocks. My baby, she rolls. Got Mississippi mud right down in her soul. Yeah, my baby's all right. Anything I want in this great big world, I got right here in my little Tennessee girl. Now sit right down and let me tell you the facts. My baby got 2 wings, she flies like that. She's alright, my baby's alright. Everything I want in this great big world, I got right here in my little Tennessee girl. Anything I want in this great big world, I got right here in my little Tennessee girl. Anything I want in this great big world, I got right here in my little Tennessee girl.
Hey, what song is that again?
So, Tennessee Girl by Mike Ferris.
What a great song.
Sounds a lot better when he does it. But this tune's by a guy named John Nemeth, and he's a really hip cat. He's a great singer songwriter, great singer and harmonica player, and he recently put out an album called I think it's called "This May Be the Last Time." Maybe the last time is the name of it. You know, the gospel song. Maybe the last time. I don't know, because he had the entire lower part of his jaw. He had a tumor and had it removed, and they had to reconstruct and put all kinds of like bone. I'm not sure exactly what they had to do, and he didn't know if he would ever record again, if he'd ever perform again. And so the last album he did was called Maybe the Last Time. Fortunately, he is able to play and sing a little bit. You know, he's got to moderate it, but he's on the road to recovery, so it's quite miraculous. But he's a tremendous performer from Memphis. Sooner or later you learn, you play with fire, you get burned. Sooner or later you learn, you play with fire, you're gonna get burned. Sooner or later you learn, every fool gonna get their turn. You live your life all the while, walking bold above the fire, living hard and burning fast. One day your good luck, it won't last. You'll break many a heart. When you're gone, they fall apart. That's why I say, sooner or later you learn. Play with fire, you get burned. Sooner or later you learn. You play with fire, you get burned. Sooner or later you learn. Every fool gonna get their turn. Some saying it's true, life will catch up to you. Living life wild and free isn't all it's cracked up to be. Hey, hey, hey. that you need the most. When you're down, they treat you like a ghost. And the ones that you hold so near, when you need them, you know they disappear. That's why I say, sooner or later you learn. Play with fire, you get burned. Sooner or later you learn. You play with fire, gonna get burned. Sooner or later you learn. Every fool gonna get their turn. Sooner or later you learn. Play with fire, get burned. Sooner or later you learn. Every fool gonna get their turn.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks. That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Nice. I like that one.
Think of a couple of more songs to sing a little in a few minutes. Joseph, you want to go next?
Sure. When the mother of my sons was giving birth, we were married time, and she was giving birth to our firstborn son. I was stroking her forehead and hair and singing this song. You are so beautiful. I don't really think she appreciated my singing at the time, but nonetheless, fast forward 10 years, and at my son's friend's birthday party that we were a guest to, I met a musician who played guitar for Joe Cocker. When he was in the area, he'd play for him on stage, and he said that he loved when that song would come on because it's all piano. So as the guitar player, he just got to stand back and watch the audience go wild when that song began. And I was feeling a little down, going through some tough times at the time, and a group of us went out for dinner after the party, and I sat down and I wrote him a poem, and he watched me write it. He mentioned it in his reaching out to me 22 years later, that I pulled out a notebook and a pencil and started writing it, and tore it out of his notebook and gave it to him. And he said that was a God moment for him, and just turned some things around for him and gave him a good start to a better perspective. Well, 22 years later, I get this message saying, "Hey, this is you. I just wanted to let you know that this beautiful poem you wrote me, it inspired me then, and I just found it again, and I put it to music, and I can't wait to hear it." His name is Steve Gornall. I don't know how you say it even. Gornall. And he's got a couple blues albums out, and one of them is called The Electric Bible of the Blues. And oh man, it is good. Oh, just the kind of just steel guitar and just wonderful. I just can't wait till to hear that. And the juxtaposition of that, great news, and I'm still struggling with my mom and lots of things going on, and it's like on the edge of some things being like the best they could possibly be. There always seems like be some personal crumble happening in the personal life of an artist. And I don't know, I assume that's so with every artist in our ups and downs. And that portrait, this beautiful portrait right here, that was painted for me by James and Suzette of Tandem Paintings. They just took it down yesterday from Ukoh Coffee House and gave it to me. A painting literally worth thousands of dollars. It is so good and so awesome, and it felt so good having it up there. Sometimes I'd sit underneath it and just see who would recognize, hey, that's the guy in the picture. And I took it down and gave it to me. But I was feeling again on edge. Working on the roof is hard work, and it's dangerous work, and my boss can't do things he used to, so I'm doing it all on my own, and I do it with a smile, but it is physically exhausting work. We had a Toastmasters meeting last night, and I just snapped. And in so doing, it's been a rough day, because when I get angry, I feel it for days. It makes me sick. I want peace on earth. I want love. I want to appreciate people. And when it shows that I don't, man, it just affects me emotionally. So I didn't really have much to share with song. I just wanted to share that story that I thought was really cool, to get a message 22 years after I wrote somebody a poem, to find out that it became a song. And that's the nature of who I am, Johnny Appleseed of poetry. And it was cathartic for me, because in my mother's last day, I told her clearly how I felt. I disappointed her with my writing, because she believed I could be the next Dr. Seuss. When she encouraged me to leave the ambulance and said she'd support me, she literally thought I would just plummet into stardom, like skyrocket into stardom with my rhythm and rhyme. But the first time I woke up and realized I didn't have to run to the ambulance in the middle of the night, I had something sacred what people don't have, time. I didn't want to write silly things. I didn't want to write a little rhyme. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to tackle why people hurt each other and get to the root of it, somehow grapple with that reason in the heart, with lyrics, with words that can be effective. And until I come up with that magic poem, I just spit everything I do out there for others to run with, as you know, as you've been with me this long. So it's nice that whenever I hear people actually doing it, it's like, yes, and just knowing that that's who I am, and that's how I roll, and that's how my legacy is going to be, is the Johnny Appleseed of poetry. Don't care about what I make here. Don't care about that. I just want to know that I'm trying my best to come up with that magic spell of a lyric, of a song that can really help the human heart when it needs it. And in the process, everything I write, I cast away. It's old bread already. And I just love when other people run with them. So that's really all I'm going to do tonight. Just wanted to share that little bit of a story and let you know what's going on in my heart right now. So thank you, Megan, for being one of those artists who just put me on cloud nine by making music of a couple of my songs so wonderfully. Really, Megan, it just like, you don't know how you made me glow, for a while. And who else we got here? I see Scott's not here. Steve Woolwine's not here.
You're welcome.
But
You're welcome.
they definitely, they put me up there on cloud nine by recognizing what I'm really about. I really am putting those lyrics out there for others, because I'm too busy doing other stuff. I write for life. Life rewards me, and that's it. That's my reward, my fountain, my treasure, and that's it. So
Yay,
thanks to all of
Joseph!
you. You can actually put music to your soul. I love you guys. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yay, Joseph! That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know you're going through a lot, and thank you for sharing. And that's so great about the guy that you wrote a poem for 22 years ago. That's incredible. That's
Steve Gornell. Steve Gornell. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. And the painting, it's yours now. That's so beautiful. That's wonderful.
It is, and I don't know what to do with it. It's so like it's too nice for my place, and I never have any company, so putting it up in my room is like, well, it's kind of a waste. It's like looking in a mirror the whole time. That's kind of silly. So
it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joseph.
You're welcome.
Megan, do you want to do a couple of more songs?
Sure. Trying to decide what two to do. Okay. Any requests? Okay, I'll figure it out. Okay, I'll do this one first. All right. Cool. I'll just keep with the that's what I'll just keep with the love song theme. Okay. I'll do this song by Aretha Franklin. It's called Daydreaming. Let me take this off. Daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. 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 Look at my room. Flow He's the kind of guy who's saying, baby, let's get away, let's go someplace out where I don't care, yeah. He's the kind of guy who give you everything, your heart to trust, share all your love to death, do your part. I wanna be what he wants, when he wants it, and wherever he needs you. When it's lost and me feeling love, stop now, be there to feed it. Loving him a little bit more each day. Turn me right on when I hear him say, hey, 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 let away, let's go somewhere out. Maybe can we, where I don't care, yeah. Hey, baby, let's get away, let's go somewhere out. Maybe can we, where I don't care, yeah. He's the kind of guy who's saying, baby, let's get away, let's go someplace, huh? Where I don't care, yeah, yeah. He's the kind of guy who give you everything, you trust your heart, share all your love till death, do your part. I wanna be what he wants, when he wants it, and wherever he needs you. When it's lost and me feeling love, stop now, be there to feed it. Loving him a little bit more each day. Turn me right on when I hear him say, hey, 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 baby, let's get away, let's go somewhere out. Maybe can we, where I don't care, yeah. Hey, baby, let's get away, let's go somewhere out. Maybe can we, where I don't care, yeah. Hey, 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 baby, let's get away, let's go somewhere. Maybe can we, where I don't care, yeah. Hey, baby, let's get away, let's go somewhere. Oh, maybe can we, where I don't care, yeah. Daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. Daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. Daydreaming and I'm thinking of you.
My favorite tune.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Let's see. All right. Let me do this one. I know. It's always just, this is always like my favorite go-to love song. I think it's just so special and sweet. And I think I mentioned it before, but I'll whatever mention it again. I was able to like sing it when my mom got remarried, so singing at the wedding was really a special thing. It's like, oh, I think the lyrics like matched the situation, so it's cool. It's called "Beautiful Surprise" by India Ari. It's like yesterday, I didn't even know your name. And now today, you're always on my mind. Never could have predicted that I feel this way. You are a beautiful surprise. Intoxicated every time I hear your voice. You got me on a natural high. It's almost like
Did you write that?
No, it's NDRE.
Is it? Yeah, it's nice.
NDRE.
Lovely.
Like,
That was beautiful. Thank you. When did your mom get remarried?
2016, 15. Sorry. Yeah. So,
What a great song to sing for her.
yeah, it was fun.
Tom, do you want to go next? You're on mute. Tom, can you
Hey, Tom, you
unmute?
muted.
There we go. Okay.
I had a dentist appointment. I apologize for being late. This sounds fantastical, but back in the 1980s, it's not my halo. I don't know why that light is. Back in the 1980s, when I first moved to California, my daily commute was, we lived in the Diablo Valley, which is in the East Bay, called after Mount Diablo. And then my clients were all in the Saintly Valley, the Santa Clara Valley, where you got San Jose, Santa Clara, San Mateo, the Santa Cruz Mountains. But to get from one to the other, I had to go through the Livermore Valley, which isn't quite well known, but it's where the Lawrence Livermore Rad Labs are located. It's where they invented the hydrogen bomb. And some of the brightest people in the world live there, and they spend their work hours trying to figure out how to kill the maximum people with the minimum of energy. I had a friend who was a therapist there. She said she was guaranteed work for the rest of her life because the mix-up in the people's minds that worked at the Rad Labs, they went home to coach Little League ball was enough to keep her in business for several lifetimes. Anyway, this was during the Reagan arms buildup, and I was also the ground zero for, if you remember, the Star Wars, which George Lucas did not appreciate. So I would leave this residential valley, go through the epicenter of the cataclysmic event, and to go to the Saintly Valley, or at least where I would get some money. Anyway, I tried to make sense out of, I live in a community where people go to church or mosque. Then I go through where they're planning the end of the world, and I go through where people are making money faster than they know how to deal with it. It's hard to grasp that because I'm a slow, good-natured fellow from the Midwest, and we don't think in those fast. So I used to ponder about that a lot, and finally in the 1990s, I began to read a lot on religion, and tried to start thinking about, well, what the hell does any religion have to do with what's going on in the world? I mean, in one valley, they're literally planning the end of the world. In the other valley, they're harnessing electrons to do all kinds of. It was just the beginning of the PC revolution. So I started thinking, well, what in my religious tradition is worth keeping? I mean, clergy can talk about angels with feathered wings and virgin mothers and so on, but that doesn't really speak to an audience living in Livermore or Santa Clara. So I began to research how do we make sense out of reconnecting technical capability with ethical responsibility. So I wrote a big book called Reconnecting, and used to speak and write a lot about how to do that. And it had effects that I had never dreamed of. In the 1990s, 3 Catholic priests came to me to go to confession. That's not usually how it's done in the Catholic Church. And I said, I don't have the power of the keys. I can't bind or release you. And they said, this were 3 separate occasions, by the way. This wasn't. three pieces at the same time. And I said, well, I pondered it. I'm puzzled by this. What do you mean? They said, each of them said the same words. I've lost all confidence in the story. Wow. They don't believe the story anymore. And I had enough questions myself that I was probably ahead of them, but I hadn't taken vows to keep telling the story every Sunday. That the God-man came to earth, a virgin mother, and walked on water and all these things. So anyway, that got me thinking about what is worth saving anymore. Later on, it became pretty clear to me in the double O's and the O10s that the Catholic Church was just going to die of its own stupefaction. And I just thought it would die a gentle peace with the beloved around the bedside, and we'd all sing Kumbaya, and that would be the end of it. But the Supreme Court this summer sort of kicked it into high gear. And we realized that the Supreme Court is pretty much an appendage of the Catholic Church now. And that really kind of befuddles me. And I'm wondering what to make of that. I mean, I'm not going to be around much longer, and I've already paid for as many indulgences as I thought I needed. And I'm kind of wondering what. So today I wrote an article on my Facebook page, and I wrote it and then I went to the dentist. So I'm not sure if it's going to really make any sense, but, I know what prompted my essay today. It turns out that before long, we'll be able to breed children in an incubator without sex. And I thought, well, that will put the last nail in the church's coffin. Because the whole premise of the church has got nothing to do with love your neighbor or any of those other things. It's how can we just keep rubbing it into women that they're inferior to men? And I realized that is the core of dogmatic Catholicism. They have never, all the way back to St. Peter, really been convinced that women have a soul. And the whole thing is that the whole of dogmatic Catholicism is that if you were conceived in your mother's womb, you're born damned. I mean, what a hell of a way to come into the world, that to be told by the ultimate authority in the world that your conception was a mortal sin, come down to 6,000 years from Eve, that woman who bewitched and bedraggled poor old Adam. And ever since education in America was formed, the New England Primer, the first line is, in Adam's fall, we sinned all. It's part of not only the church, but our Christian heritage in America. And the church has never backed off from that. To be born in your mother's contaminated womb, contaminated by the sin of Eve, you're born damned. And the church speaks out of two sides of its mouth on that. You don't have a soul until you're born. So a fetus doesn't have a soul, which is why a fetus, either aborted or miscarried, can't be baptized. And a stillborn child can't be baptized because there's no soul. And yet at the same time, the church says that fetus has a soul, and that's why it has to be saved. So I'll leave it to the Jesuits to work through that one. But so you're born damned. And hopefully as soon as possible, you are baptized into the cult of the celibate men who have a penis but refuse to use it. And women not having a penis have to take second place. But if you do join the cult, you're saved. And as long as you don't commit any big sin, when you die, you'll go to heaven, which is run entirely by men as well. But if you choose not to be baptized, or if you fall away from the church, you'll return to the womb. This time it's the womb of the world, the womb of Mother Nature, which is hellfire. And even the rite of baptism is pretty strange, because what the priest does is pour water to wash off your mother's natural blood, so you're born again in the blood of a man. When our youngest son was baptized in the Catholic Church years ago, one of the women got into the sanctuary, the holy space before the altar, to take a picture. The priest stopped the baptism and yelled at that woman to get out of there. And I don't know why. It's because women aren't allowed in that sacred space, because some menstrual blood may fall on the holy space. But in Mass, the priest holds up a gold goblet, and imaginary wine comes out of the statue of Jesus on the cross, and the congregation drinks it. And I think, how can you tell this to people in the 21st century? I don't know. And I think back now, if those three priests were confused back then, what can they possibly be doing now to stay sane? And if you'll let me just go down to the end of, oh, yeah. So what happens when children are going to be conceived in incubators and printed out on 3D printers? And that's real stuff that could be here in 20 years. The church won't have any reason to exist anymore, because not being contaminated in the womb, there's no original sin, so you're not born damned. Holy Toledo. Now, that doesn't mean that once you're born, you don't have an obligation to live a moral life. It's just that you're not born damned come out of the gate. And so I started thinking, well, what do you cling to? And it seems to me that the core of the teachings that have long since been passed over are to have faith in the unseen, in things we can't weigh or measure, like kindness, integrity, hope, and what the Buddhists call right speech and right action. That's faith. Dogma is leftover notions from people who lived so long ago, we can't begin to imagine what their world was like. No more can their stories from long ago guide us in a world they could never possibly have imagined. So go in peace. Your sins are forgiven. And we will be picking up a collection on the way out. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Hey, Tom.
There's a poem that I just posted that's
Okay.
No, great story, Tom. Thank you. Yeah, I was born Catholic, so anyway, yeah, thank you.
I know that there's a bestseller out now. Donald Trump is Jesus Reborn. And when I read stuff like that, I think, and that gets a lot of people going. And I had lunch over the $1.50 hot dog at Costco last week with a true believer, a true mega person who's Catholic. And I just let them talk. I'm not going to argue. I'm just trying to get in their head and figure how does this work? How do you transition from the Sermon on the Mount, even blessed are the cheesemakers, which is kind of a joke, but to Donald Trump is the new Jesus? I mean, this really puzzles me and confounds me.
That's very confusing. Okay, well, Ed, do you want to do a couple more?
I'll do one more.
Sorry?
I'll do one more.
Okay, that'd be great.
Can I do quick few lines? That's because this is directly related to what Tom was saying. If I may, it's just a few lines. It's time for men to understand that arrogance is ill, and nothing less than blasphemy says superior is male will. The falsehood of the scriptures that say that women must submit should be flushed like any toilet that is receptacle to shit. It is time to call the cards of the players at the table. That men should dominate women is an utterly toxic fable. That's all.
Thanks, Joseph. Very appropriate. Thank you.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, Ed, you're on.
All right. Oh, she didn't bat an eye as I packed my bags to leave. I thought she would cry, sit around in my room and grieve. But that girl, she fooled me this time. She acted like I was the last thing on her mind. I would like to start all over again. As I took those steps toward that open door, people knowing all the time I did not want to go, but that girl, she fooled me this time. She acted like I was the last thing on her mind. I would like to start all over again. Baby, let me change my mind. Please, baby, let me change my mind. Oh, I played my games many, many times before. People knowing all the time. I never walked out that front door. The wind is howling in Greenbelt tonight. Look for my baby, she know inside. I would like to start all over again. Baby, can I change my mind? Please, baby, let me change my mind. Yikes.
Hey.
Yay, Ed. Thank you. Thank you. Joseph, I sent you a chat.
Thank you,
Did
Ed.
you get my chat, Joseph?
Oh yeah, I did, of course. Yes,
It's okay?
absolutely, of course.
Okay. Okay, well, it's so great having you back, Ed. Thanks so much for coming tonight. It's great to see you.
Great to see everybody.
And that's our show. So thanks everybody for another great open mic night live at the ZoomBarDC. And see you guys next week. And we'll have some special guests next week as well. So thank you all so much.
Thanks so much.
Thanks
Bye, everybody.
Good to see
Good
everybody.
night. Thank you.
Hi, Ed. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Megan.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tom.
Everybody.
Thanks, Joseph. Thanks, David.
Love you all.
Love you guys.
You too.